It's just saying jokes. This isn't even funny, but it's funny. Okay, cool. I'm Alice. I'm from Oxford and I'm a youth worker.
Yeah, I'm Jade Mash, and yeah, I'm me really, and I'm a teacher, and I do a few bits working with young people. Yeah.
My name is Jabunala Hartley. I am I would call myself community advocate in terms of the stuff that I do. I've been a city councillor in Oxford. I'm a political activist, but also I founded an organization, Mothers for Justice Ubuntu, which focuses on looking at the disproportionate targeting of Black young youths in the system.
I heard about this project earlier on this year and I've come to support because it's close to my heart too.
Okay, my son was, basically they tried to kill him. Attempted murder. The trial didn't go to, well, the trial went all right. I think the guy who stabbed him in the heart got life, and the other two got away because it's like my son, you know, it's like, I don't know, 2 walked and 1 went to prison, but they were all guilty.
My number 2 son has had many attempts on his life from people he doesn't even know.
I lost one of my childhood friends to knife crime. I remember just crying continuously and just in pure shock that I couldn't believe someone's done this. And to Alex, one of the people you would never imagine that to happen to.
One time he'd just gone to play basketball with his friends and a group of 14 or so people chased him with knives and bats and chains and chased him into a shop and tried to stab him.
Personally, my son has been affected by a knife crime. He has been stabbed. He has been a perpetrator in terms of where he was called a racial slur at work, and then he picked up a knife and fought at work. So it has affected me both ways. He has been stabbed subsequently after that. Yeah.
I guess really from the early 2000s, and we were becoming aware slowly. I worked within a local authority and we were becoming aware of more and more of the young people that we worked with being involved in over their heads. My own son has lost a number of close friends. I've been to their funerals and then I've been working with the people who've committed the murders. So yeah, personally and professionally.
My story isn't a typical knife crime story. It's not a typical story that describes anything that's happened to me, like, recently. My mum and dad, you know, met, you know, whatever, I don't know what, like 46 or whatever. And yeah, basically there was violence between them and violence ended up with a knife being used. You know, my mum was pregnant with twins. She was stabbed, the blade hit the placenta. One twin died and 1 lived. I'm the living twin.
It's kind of like when things like that happen, it's kind of like a shock, but then I don't know, we just wouldn't move forward. So we just carry on, regardless.
To see him dressed in that white costume that the forensic people use for people when they are in custody, and to hear how he couldn't defend himself by not using other means, so he felt he had to pick up a knife. It was quite scary. And also the fact that it could have been worse, it could have been fatal. It's all those things, they're really scary, you know.
So personally, I've been massively affected. I've attended funerals of young people who should still be here. I've seen what it does to their siblings and their parents and their grandparents and their community and their family and their friends. I've watched young people go to prison and seen their friends grieving for them. They've lost their friends too.
It does have a lasting impact because I think even though, you know, you can't, it's a silly thing to say, You can't grieve as a baby because you don't have any living memories of what your sister might have been or the sister that you might have had, and you can't really live in that grief. But, you know, the lasting legacy is that as a result of that, you know, my mum and dad weren't together, they couldn't be together. And over time, you know, it meant that I just ended up being a child that was lost in the system with no mum, no dad, no family. I've lost a heritage of like my West Indian roots, you know. My children have lost, you know, family and none of them kind of asked for that in a way. So the legacy is beyond, you know, missing a sister. It's identity, it's culture, it's family, it's belonging. Yeah, so for me, you know, one of the places I think that I've probably found a lot of healing and growth has been in my own writing. And I used to work with Claire, who's also, you know, running the project, and I just ended up sharing a bit about myself and what I do.
I got the idea for the project because of what happened to my son. My son was involved in an incident, a knife crime incident. He got injured, he didn't get seriously hurt, but the impact on him and on the entire family was something that kind of stayed with us for a while. After a while, I kind of found that I needed to write about it.
It's not an easy subject for people to open up about, particularly around strangers, let alone asking them to write about it, you know, and it's like really raw in that way. So I just wanted to really help make that a soft place for people to be able to hold that, and hopefully I was able to help. So, you know, really proud and feel really privileged to be a part of just helping collect those voices, really.
I think getting involved in this project is the first time that I have thought about these stories consciously, but I feel like the secret keeper, the story keeper, and I've got more stories than I can count, and usually they're kind of wrapped up like tissue paper and I carry them, and then sometimes it feels more like I'm carrying a bag of nails.
Whenever I'm feeling a type of way, I'll just go to my notes and I'll start writing away, basically.
Yeah? A Mother's Intuition, Sunday, 29th December 2024, 5:05 p.m. A headline appears on the newsfeed, man stabbed. I knew instantly something was wrong. You can call this a mother's intuition.
Hope was shattered in an instant, stolen by a blade. A choice of hate and rage, not a mistake that was made. Pure devastation, agony, a tragedy so deep. A wound on the world that only heaven gets to keep.
They gave me your breath when the knife came down. I don't know if you felt the steel, if you had time to know that you were loved before you were taken. I kept the pink cup, the one that matched my shoes. I still set it out sometimes, still fill it with light I pretend is yours. I carry you in my ribs, in the way I breathe too deep, like I'm breathing for two. I think the stereotype around, you know, race and age and background, I think, play a huge part of that, and I think there's a huge misunderstanding. And I come at this from like an empathetic point of view, because although I'm from, you know, an ethnic minority, and sure, my dad was black and my mum was Irish, it wasn't really anything to do with that. And I think what society needs to understand is, you know, the police, the services that work with predominantly young people or offenders get there too late.
Back to the road again, back on the road again, pounding in the street, asking whose streets. The scales of justice claim balance, but balance is a mask. Men in suits, women in heels, trying to look respectable for the courts. Yes, these are the same bodies, once roaming in Nike, in Adidas, judged from the moment they arrived, defined by mothers, by postcodes, by weight of poverty. If you were to take the person from that environment and put them in another environment, the stimuli, they would react differently to how they live life. we need to look more into it. I'm not saying let's not punish people who are, but for me, a lot of them, they should be in hospital, or, you know, they should look at the crime as something that should be, you know, should have more psychological evaluation.
He's wearing smart shoes, the shoes of a man, and I should be proud. He looks so grown up. But all I can think is, it's been raining and they have slippery soles. What if those soles cost him his soul? I think he probably started feeling vulnerable before he ever told me he felt vulnerable, because he's a teenage boy and he's not going to want to tell me that he's scared. And it took a lot for him to come and tell me that he was scared the first time. I think that society could change its views on knife crime with education and with awareness that it's not just a black teenage boy problem, that it does trickle through to every part of society, and that it's not just you have to be in a gang, you have to be selling drugs, you have to live in a big city. It's everyday people that are impacted by this.
31st December 2024, at the hospital, intensive care unit. He's waiting for a hand operation, sending love and light, healing energy. How cruel, stabbed in the heart, back, the lung. They grazed his heart, only millimeters away from the knife that came to slay.
I think they should give everybody a musical instrument. Yeah, instead of carrying knives, play an instrument. You know, I think people should just play music and just jamming all night long. Yeah, I think people need to express themselves in other ways. That's not a way to express yourself. You get me?
And it symbolised good night. It told the young people it's time to go home now. And it stated, don't even think about starting a new game. But that night, a youth worker snatched the cover, bundled it into a rough ball, raced out the room, leaped down the staircase, out through gaping fire doors.
I'm grateful he's alive. I'm grateful for the surgeons who saved his life. I'm grateful for the power of healing.
And I tried to convince him to put on his sturdy, reliable trainers, the ones that kept him safe last time he was chased, the ones that brought him home to me. Ugh, they don't go with my outfit, Mum.
I saw who he really was. His spirit spoke to mine, a soul tied tight across the lines of space and time. To look into his eyes was like getting lost at sea. He'd answer every call and be there in a heartbeat.
Maternity, preschool, prison, identity declared by social design. Where you live decides how you live. The preschool to prison route is not a myth, it's a map. Young men are being taught to be hard, and there's a street code. I will not snitch, I will not, because we were like appalled, like, tell us who did it. We need this person, you know, brought to justice, but he wasn't prepared to do that. So not only are they victims, they're also victims of the streets, the street code, because you cannot protect yourself by, you know, saying who's done it. They call it snitching.
It was guided over the shaking hands of the shivering youth worker, and they pressed the favourite designer sweatshirt hard into jagged wounds and ruptured skin. That night, a pool table cover became a screen to protect a young man's dignity, to shield children from the horror of what teenagers had done to a boy that used to be their friend. I wouldn't know where to start. Somebody close to me, 17 years old, was recently chased by someone with a knife. What do you say to that person, you know? What would my message be? I don't know. I don't know if I was 17 now, if I was a young man and I had to make my way to college or to work or to my friend's house or to a party. Yeah, I'd be scared. So I don't know. I wouldn't know where to start.
You were here, you mattered. You are the beginning. I'm still learning to honour. I'm the girl who survived. You are the sister who made survival something worth claiming. One day, twin, I'll meet you again. In a place with no files, no knives and no separation. Just two girls finally
together at the table that they were always meant to share. Rest easy. I'm holding your place.
Yeah, so his birthday is coming up, Monday the 22nd of December, and he actually had his funeral on his birthday, so he passed away on the 13th of November 2022, and then he was laid to rest on the 22nd of December 2022. And yeah, it's a day that we'll always remember and honour him.
And it's your birthday.
Yeah, it is also my birthday too. That's something that we shared. And from childhood, that's just something we bonded over straight away. So to have birthdays without him, yeah.